Which of the following tissue types is not derived from the mesoderm? A. Red blood cells. B. Thyroid. C. Muscle cells. D. Pericardium. The answer is B. Thyroid. The mesoderm forms skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, smooth muscle, connective tissue, the pericardium, in addition to several other membranous sacs such as the peritoneum, and red blood cells. It also gives rise to cartilage and bone, the dura mater, the kidneys, and the adrenal glands. The thyroid is derived from the endoderm. Which of the following medications is known to have teratogenic effects? A. Warfarin. B. ACE inhibitors. C. Isotretinoin. D. All of these. The answer is D. All of these. Multiple forms and classes of medication have been shown to cause birth defects. These include ACE inhibitors, antiepileptics such as phenytoin and valproic acid, isotretinoin and other forms of high-dose vitamin A, and blood thinners such as warfarin, among others. Fertilization generally occurs in what location? A. The distal two-thirds of the fallopian tube. B. In the fundus of the uterus. C. In the femur. D. In the body of the uterus. The answer is A. The distal two-thirds of the fallopian tube. Fertilization happens in the fallopian tube, most frequently in the distal two-thirds of the tube. Dash is the fetal structure that allows approximately 20 to 30% of blood to bypass the liver and flow from the umbilical vein to the vena cava. A. The ductus venosus. B. The foramen ovale. C. The umbilical vein. D. The ductus arteriosus. The answer is A. The ductus venosus. The ductus venosus is a small shunt that allows a portion of fetal blood to bypass the liver and flow from the umbilical vein to the vena cava. This allows more oxygenated blood to be available for the developing fetal brain. The ductus arteriosus and foramen ovale are both fetal cardiac shunts. The placenta secretes all of the following hormones except A. Aldosterone. B. Human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG. C. Human placenta lactogen, HPL. D. Estrogen. The answer is A. Aldosterone. The human placenta secretes estrogen, progesterone, human chorionic gonadotropin, HCG, and human placenta lactogen, HPL. Aldosterone is produced by the adrenal gland. The initial single-celled fertilized egg is known as the A. Embryo. B. Zygote. C. Blastocyst. D. Morula. The answer is B. Zygote. A zygote is a karyotic cell formed by the joining of two gametes, sperm and egg. The zygote then goes on to divide several times till it forms a small clump of cells termed a morula. The next stage is the formation of a blastocyst, which is the final stage before development into an embryo. An embryo implants days after ovulation. A. 7 to 10. B. 5 to 7. C. 10 to 12. D. 1 to 5. The answer is A. 7 to 10. The zygote has developed into an embryo and reached the uterus by day 5 and will generally implant on day 7 to 10 after ovulation. The majority of first trimester miscarriages are due to A. Lifting heavy objects. B. Chromosome abnormalities. C. Exercise. D. None of these. The answer is B. Chromosome abnormalities. The most common cause of first trimester miscarriage is chromosome abnormalities. These can occur in as many as 1 in 4 pregnancies, and cause the developing embryo issues that are not compatible with life. Lifting heavy objects and exercise are not generally responsible for triggering miscarriage, though they could potentially trigger a miscarriage in individuals with underlying conditions or other risk factors. What organelle is considered to be the powerhouse of the cell, due to its role in production of ATP? A. Mitochondria. B. The nucleus. C. The Golgi apparatus. D. The rough endoplasmic reticulum. The answer is A. Mitochondria. Mitochondria are often called the powerhouse of the cell because they produce ATP, the body's most basic unit of energy. The nucleus houses the cell's DNA, The rough endoplasmic reticulum is the site of cellular protein manufacturing, and the Golgi apparatus packages protein manufactured in the cell for release and transport to the rest of the body. Which of the following is not a function of the cell membrane? A. Anchors the cytoskeleton to hold the shape of the cell. B. Synthesize proteins. C. Regulates passage of substances into and out of the cell. D. Attaches to the extracellular matrix and other cells to create tissues. The answer is B. Synthesize proteins. The cell membrane has many purposes. It anchors the cytoskeleton to give the cell shape and structure. It houses proteins that both interact with signaling molecules from outside the cell and communicate with secondary messengers within the cell. It facilitates the absorption and release of electrolytes, water, and vesicles carrying proteins or other molecules. It forms junctions with other cells and connects the cell to the extracellular matrix. One thing the cell membrane does not do, however, is act as a site of protein synthesis. That occurs primarily in the rough endoplasmic reticulum or on ribosomes in the cytoplasm.